Good to have you back on Africa News Arm. I'm Yi Wei-Lo. Now, as the 2019 general elections beckons here in Nigeria, more aspirants are springing up to contest for the presidency. The latest one is a prominent Nigerians in diaspora and founder of the first ethnic satellite media company in Europe, Ben TV. Ali Shoyode, at his recent declaration for the Nigerian presidency in Abuja, says he is the bridge that will bring Nigeria's development.
For me, as I said, this is a call to answer the yearning of the young, the youth, the elders. I have traversed the country speaking to people, listening to their views and opinions. There are too many tremendous and golden opportunities for Nigeria. There is no doubt whatsoever that Nigeria is a great country, and you are indeed great people. I'm really grateful for our founding fathers because they sacrificed a lot for us to be where we are today. No matter the fault, no matter how they brought us here, but they did something. They wanted to be a bridge at that period of time in the history of Nigeria. And I thank God that as I'm standing in front of you, I'm standing likewise as the bridge, and you too should stand as the bridge.
Ali Shoyode joins me now in the studio. It's good to have you with us as always.
Thank you very much.
Now, you claim to be the bridge that will bring about Nigeria's development. I'm sure a whole lot of folks back home would like to, understand what that statement means.
Well, thank you. In today's present Nigeria, everybody is talking about our division. We're talking about culturally, socially, politically, economically. We are more divided at any other time. And in that essence, what we need now is somebody who can unite us together from the north and the south, culturally, socially, even in terms of our educational pursuit as a nation. And so there's no doubt that what is needed as of today in Nigeria is somebody who can play that role. And I'm grateful that my parents are from the northern and the southern part of the country.
Oh, it's a mix.
Which is the reason why I actually come out as the platform called The Bridge. But apart from that as well, Ben Television, when we started, our ethos is bridging the gap, which means we're bridging the gap between the black community and the Western community, between Africa and Europe. More so, and the sole reason why the station started is because of Nigeria. The negative stories around black people created that tension that if something happens somewhere, so long it's not positive, then people tag the person to be a Nigerian. And I thought, well, surely enough, we are not what people classify us to be. Right. So the best thing I can do is go into that industry. And of course, when I started, I have no experience whatsoever in media or communication or handling cameras. Right. But then I end up being the person that founded that platform that then bridged our community and society. So Nigeria as of today, definitely, without any doubt, you need somebody who can bridge that divide that we have been experiencing.
Very good. Now, talking about experiencing, a whole lot of people out there might say, okay, Ali is not too experienced regarding politics and is going to engage a whole lot of political juggernauts who are already there and have decades of experience. So how would you, counter that?
Well, the difference between I and the other people is the other people, they stood for election and they elected.
Right.
But somehow I have been playing a major role from 2000 at least in all the political dispensation that has been taking place in this country. More so as well, I have played a major role in the European election, UK election. So I have the combination of both worlds. And during the campaign here, including even the present administration, I fully participated from ward level, local government level, state level, and nationally. I was at the primaries of the presidential candidate. I sat through the night. We slept in these venues. So I have participated, and all those, most of the governors that are in position, one way or another, I have related with them. I have mixed with them. I know what they do politically. But here we're talking about the politics have been elected and politics have never been elected. That's the difference. But leadership is across all board. And this is the difference I'm bringing about, the quality of leadership that people are experiencing as of today and what we can offer, which is totally different. We have never been mixed or we found one thing in the situation of what Nigerians tag negative angle. We have focused on how we can strengthen Nigeria as a nation. We have focused on how we can empower our community and our people, either abroad, in the diaspora, and more so at home. I have mentored thousands of youth in what to do and how to develop themselves. Bearing in mind that I was coming from a rural village or a small village called Kasana, transversed into Lagos, play football, what I study is agriculture, and then going to Europe without any experience and yet setting up something that has never been done by anybody.
Yeah.
So coming back home, I know Nigeria inside out because I am always at home.
All right.
So I mingle. And as I say, I work with the politicians who were elected, and once in a while we share experience of leadership. Okay,
very good. Now, I'm sure a whole lot of people don't know what you just told us, and be surprised to so many people out there. But it's about roughly 10 months to the elections.
Sure.
What platform are you running?
Before today, we have a movement called the Yes Nigeria movement.
Okay.
The movement basically has been going around the country, educating the electorate, telling them that actually they have the authority of governance more than the people that they feel they are elected to be in office.
Okay.
Your term is your authority, and you use that term to vote the people in either way. So we have been doing that educational series, village to village, especially in the northern part of the country. And with that, we found a lot of responses. And it's out of the responses telling people that whichever party you want to go for it, but make sure that at least the credible candidate within that party are allowed to run.
Okay, so sorry, that means you don't have a platform currently that you're...
Yes, I do not have a platform because
why is that?
The final leg of our registration, because we have process, and it has to go through that process.
But
nevertheless,
how would you gauge people's response to what you've just said?
Presently, I think almost 80% of the people that have already declared they actually do not have a platform, or rather they have not yet said they are with a political party.
Okay.
I am no difference, but the fact is I know I have a platform, which is the Yes Nigeria, and then at the same time, even before today, or before my declaration, there has been political parties who have been speaking with us, speaking to me directly as well, that we need your kind of person in this election. The truth of the matter as well is, if you're not standing, you can never be considered. So if the only candidate that are standing are the people that Nigerians say they don't want, but there's no alternative. So you can't blame whoever it is that is standing for election 2019. Now we're giving Nigerians the option. They say, here we are, consider us. We're saying I am the bridge between the North and the South. I'm the bridge between Nigeria and Africa. I'm the bridge between Nigeria and the $22 billion remittances coming from the diaspora. As a former chairman of the Nigerian Diaspora Organization, I know what the youth want. If it is in sport, there's no other candidate that would be standing that know the sport more than I do. If it is the entertainment industry, which allow Nigeria to become one of the largest economies on the African continent, no candidate can tell me that they have engaged the entertainment industry, the music industry, or the artistic industry in this country more than I have. Is it true?
Yeah, but people are still going to be worried that, look, are you going on an independent candidature? Because that's not...
It's not allowed yet.
Yes, it's not really a tradition here in Nigeria regarding that. So probably that's the perception they will have of you. What do you make of that?
Well, the perception is really, if you follow the trend of the 2015 election, people were not really going with a political party. They were going with a candidate profile. 2019 is not going to be any different. What is going to happen in 2019 is you're going to have a two-basket, whereby you have the professional politician in basket A, that's the way I call it, and the emerging leaders in basket B. The question is to the Nigerian people, are you going to stick with the same people when now you have an option, or are you going to consider the option B, which is the emerging leaders? And we're not just emerging leaders. You have to look at where are we coming from? What have we done for the country? People say, what is your qualification, or what have you done for the country? I would say, well, for the last 20 years, I've been representing Nigeria and the black world to the international community. I have been bridging the gap, showcasing what needs to be done, driving investment into this country, yet I'm not in government, but outside government. And for me, everything is about Nigeria. What do we do to make it better and greater?
Very good, Ali. Now, there's been a move currently to have Nigerians in diaspora, be part of the political voting process. And that's an inclusive, all-inclusive gesture on the part of government so far. So what do you make of that? Nigerians outside should also be able to contribute.
It should be an easy thing. I have been campaigning for this for the last 10 years at least, as a former chairman, of course, of the Nigerian diaspora. We have fought for it in the 2014 National Conference, whereby finally, through my presentation, individualist presentation, two people were included in that national conference that represent the diaspora. And it's going to be easy. Really, the Constitution, all they have to do is 77 2B, just to change it, allow the diaspora to vote. Simple. We can start with the Nigerian embassies across the world.
All right.
You can be selective.
Okay.
And all they have to do is go with their Nigerian passport and vote. Now, they're talking about which state. Every Nigerian that is outside the country has a state of origin somehow. All INEC need to do is just put the state so that then you know that box, that vote belongs to that state presidential candidate. It's simple as that.
Very good. Now, we're seeing an emergence of younger aspirants towards the 2019 polls. Well, you might argue that they have a Herculean task in that regard to make an impact. But I've interviewed quite a number, even in this studio. So what do you make of that development, that real, an emergence of just young people?
I think the emergence is basically that it's either Nigerians really do feel that they're tired of the so-called change or the so-called transformation.
Okay.
And people feel that they can offer a better option. But the opinion poll is saying the younger generation or the youth are saying they want to be involved in the policies of the country. Okay. Nevertheless, as I said, if you're not standing, you cannot be considered. If your name is not on the ballot paper, you can never be elected.
Okay.
So there is a drive, and my prayer is the youth can converse or come together collectively and make a presentation. Because what I'm seeing here is you're going to have as much as maybe 3 to 4 professional career politicians against a younger, non-professional career politician. I feel this is a strategy, but the younger generation can definitely win, subject to that we have more than 60% of the electorate belonging to that group. And the fact of the matter is, somebody can always retain the 10 million votes because these are hardcore followers, but we're going to have already we have about 74 million electorate that have registered to vote. Some that are registering as of today are registering to change the government, not to keep the government in motion.
Very good, changing the government. Now, politics usually is all about numbers at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Now, are there plans by your group to team up with other younger aspirants, the Mongalus, the Showares and co? I'm sure you've been hearing about them as well. So what do you make of that?
Well, last Tuesday at the Musa Yar'Adua Center in Abuja was an Emerging Political Summit debate, kind of. And with due respect to them, I volunteered to captain the whole team that way there.
Okay.
Because I feel that there's no doubt that we really need to come together. But at the end of the day, it's not about do or die affair. It's about my country, Nigeria, which I'm passionate, which I have been representing for the last 2 decades, as young as I look. But that is what I have been doing. I believe we have the energy, we have the drive, we have the innovation, we have the creativity, we have the technology that can drive Nigeria to the next level. We're not just giant of Africa by landslide. We should be giant of Africa in almost everything, especially now we're talking about technology. So I see no fear in it. What I can believe is that Nigeria definitely, in terms of democracy, we have strengthened the democratic principle in Nigeria just by us joining that political era.
Very good. Now, on a last note and a brief note as well, Nigeria's socio-political challenges quite numerous. You and I know that. So what are your main priorities if elected?
Yes. That's my priority.
It's huge.
Yes. And yes, basically stand for youth, economy, education, energy, our elders, enterprising, which is agriculture, health, and the rest, respect for our elders. But among all these things, you must have expertise, you must have experience, and we will now enforce every law, every policy that belongs to Nigerian people under the Nigerian Constitution. You can have a good economy, good education, good all this thing, beautiful, laid down. Without security, which is the last S to make it yes, you cannot have a good life. So we make sure that everything that we outline, if there is time, we explain, but to enjoy all this thing, you need good security system in the country.
Very good.
Which will be something we
Very
work
good.
on.
Arisetv, media entrepreneur, presidential aspirant, many thanks for joining us on the show.
Thank you very much for having me.
You're watching African News Hour.